Hey everyone, welcome to Influence. This is the podcast where we talk to proven people who have proven strategies and incredible proven results. On this episode, I talked to Marc Augustine. Now, Marc is a YouTuber with over 40,000 subscribers, but he's also the king of dropshipping and he's grown a great business around it. Marc talks with me about what it really took to not only build his YouTube channel, but also what it took to be a dropshipper. If this is something that you're interested in learning, you're going to love this episode. Enjoy. All right, Marc, welcome to Influence, sir. It's an honor to have you.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's an honor to be on because I get some of these emails sometimes, but I usually don't have time to do these type of like podcasts. But I think this is really cool. Thanks for having me, dude.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I appreciate you responding to mine and joining me on here, man.
Yeah.
For the people listening, can you tell us a little bit about like what your channel is and kind of, the stuff that you like talking about?
Okay, so the name of my channel currently is Marc Augustine. It's my name, but I did not start the channel with that name. I started the channel as No BS Dropshipping. So I was covering for a very long time just dropshipping content, how to build a dropshipping business, how to start from zero, because I started the channel documenting myself going through this proper. You know what I mean? So, but the name of the channel is Marc Augustine. I'm like steering away from just pure dropshipping and talking more about like traveling and business and stuff. But yeah, and I've had it for a while.
Okay. So the main reason why I invited you on here is because you've grown a very successful YouTube channel.
Mhm.
If I believe correctly, you're in the 40,000. How many subscribers do you have
Yeah,
right now?
almost 40,000. It's like
Almost 40,000. Okay.
37,000. Yeah.
That's beyond impressive. Way to go to get yourself there.
I mean, I when I started, that wasn't the goal, but yeah, thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's start with that. So let's start at the very beginning of your journey. What was going on around the time that you decided, like, you know what, I'm going to go on YouTube. I'm going to start uploading some videos. What was going on around that time?
Okay, so it was very specific. Like let me see. I'm how old are you, by the way?
I am 36, 35,
Right.
36. Yeah.
Right. I'm 39. I'm a little like we're around the same age. I'm a little older.
Right.
And so I was living in the US and I was making money online on a blog. This is like 2006. Then I was traveling. I ended up in Costa Rica and I joined this group called, I can't remember the name of the group. It was one of those like dropshipping multi-level marketing things. So they were teaching you how to dropship, but there wasn't like any YouTube or anything. So I joined. The information was like halfway okay, but it wasn't like logical. So people would make like $10, but no one was making like a lot of money. So I was like, okay, let me try. I made like $3-4, and I built it up without YouTube or anything. I got up to making like $10,000 a month on eBay. And then after I started making that money, I used some of the money to build a piece of software to try to sell to other drop shippers in the Facebook groups, because we were part of a lot of Facebook groups and there were people showing their results and so on. And then I was spending the drop shipping money to build this software, and like I ran out of money in building the software and I didn't know how to sell it. Like I didn't know like where would I sell it. So I was like, So then I jump in Facebook groups, just talking to people, telling them about the software. And then one person was like, show me how to use it. So I just made a video and put it on YouTube and I sent them the link on Facebook. And I was like, watch this. That's how software works. And like I did that maybe 10 times. And then like other people who weren't using the software started to ask questions. So I was like, okay. So then I just started to make videos answering questions, and there were no thumbnails, no like, this is like a long time ago, right? Like YouTube has changed a lot. So like I just started like documenting what I was doing, and I had no proper, I wish I could go back and show you the videos. It's really fucking insane because I had no like proper lighting. I looked like I had a bar in Nicaragua at the time. So I looked like I'm in a fucking dungeon and like talking about dropshipping. And that's how it started. It was just like it's just by accident kind of. It wasn't like a lot of people now in like 2022 like want to be YouTubers, and like I don't know what that means because I never thought of being a fucking YouTuber. It kind of it's annoying half the time, but it just came out of like the necessity to like share something that I had, and then when I realized people was watching the videos and like these are potential customers, I kind of likened it to like when after college in 2005, I did direct sales in Miami, right? And I had to go like door to door to sell the most fucking horrible phone service on the face of the earth. And it'll take me like 9 hours to see 50 doors, right? Like walking the street. So then when I was in YouTube, I was like, I could post a video and like 50 people see it. And that shit takes like 15 minutes. I'd have to like walk the street and be knocking on doors and shit. So I kind of used it as like, I kind of happened to come across it. And then I saw it as like a sales channel kind of. And then I realized this, and then it just came from there. Yeah.
So here's my question. So I kind of went into, you used YouTube to try to communicate with your target audience, right?
Right.
Was there a point that you just started to see YouTube as just more than just for your business? Like you saw value in growing an audience? I mean, what happened on your journey to really start getting more eyeballs and people subscribing to you?
Right. So it's a weird, okay. The value of growing an audience. Okay. So I was just posting. So remember, this is a time where like there weren't a lot of people like posting about drop shipping and showing actually what to do, right? And I felt like I sat down and had to figure this shit out, like small details and stuff by myself. And the training I had at the time was garbage. And like I would make videos to like one person. So like someone would like comment and I'll just be like, I didn't even think that someone would want to know that. And I'll just make the video for that one person. And then like people kept asking. And then I realized that like through like experience and like doing stuff and hard work, there is like value that other people like need, or other people like could be helpful for other people or whatever. And it just kind of grew from there. It was real weird because okay, so I took this YouTube thing to a much more personal level than a lot of people will take it, right? Like I have a tattoo on my arm. Hold on, which arm? Look at it, called Dropshipping House, right? That was a hotel that I rented that like 12 actual humans that was following me came to fucking Nicaragua and live with me. You know what I mean? And like, so like when these kids, and it was a real strange, it wasn't a strange group, it was a real eye-opener, right? Because like I went this like personal path of like going to school and then getting a scholarship and then studying math, and then like I had left home at 18, so like being in the US in a foreign country was strange or whatever. And like when these kids, it was a range from like 18 to like 35, when these 12 people came down here, out of those 12 people, like 2 of them kind of knew what they would, kind of had a vision for their life, but all of them were fucking lost, dude. Like lost for real. And that was like a fucking it was a weird thing because like you meet, like these are real fucking humans from like all over the US, Canada, and one from Argentina, one from Brazil. And they come and live in a fucking house, right? And I'm thinking like, okay, we're just gonna record this shit and make like a cool YouTube like documentary or some shit. But these people are fucking lost as shit. And like, no, let me explain. Like I had a and now Eric is doing really well, but I had a conversation with Eric's parents before he came to Nicaragua, because he's gonna drop out of university to come to Nicaragua to drop ship full time, right? And I'm just like, like these are real people making life decisions based on shit I'm seeing on fucking YouTube. So it's like a real, and a lot. I'm not like the most famous YouTuber, and I think a lot of YouTubers underestimate like the responsibility that we have. But we can, you talk about value, like we actually, if you really put in the time, you can actually change people's lives. And that's kind of crazy. It's fun. I mean, it's cool, but it's also a big responsibility. I
Yeah,
don't
man.
know if I answered your question, but yeah.
That was good. That was good. I'd love to actually talk with you about. I want to go back in time a little bit and talk with you about your first introduction to drop shipping, because that seems to be, the core of really what you dedicated your life to.
Right.
So when were you first exposed to drop shipping, and why did it really catch your interest?
Right. So I had this blog about corporate finance, and like I was raising capital for like people or whatever. And then this dude, a client of mine, he was like, "Hey Mark, I came across a dropshipping thing. I haven't figured it out." His name is Greg. I still have it in my email. A dude from Texas, Houston. So he was like, "Hey, I came across a dropshipping thing on eBay. I'm not really making money, but you seem like a smart dude. Maybe you can figure it out." So like, huh. So drop shipping, the way I was presented it, right, was so it started on eBay. What I was shown, you jump on eBay, you figure out what people are searching for, and then like you create a listing and you sell them some shit, you get the money and then ship it to their house, right? And what was interesting about that specific model, like a lot of people who look up drop shipping on YouTube now will see like Shopify and you're paying ads and you have to start with a certain amount of credits and all this stuff. But the unique part about this thing was that you could start with no motherfucking money, like none, like $100 fucking. And I was down to $200 at the time. So because I remember calling my mother, I was like, "Mommy, I need like $1,000." And she's like, "I'm not giving you any money. If you come home, you can get some money, but I'm not giving it." So I was like, "Whatever, let me figure shit out." So I was literally down to like $200 in like Costa Rica, some shit. And someone showed me this thing where I could make money and I don't need money or credit or anything. So I'm like, fuck this. I just put in 18 hours a day. And that's all it was. For the first like 50 hours, I made like $3. And I was like, huh, if I can make $3, I have to like make those 50 hours more efficient. Like that's how I looked at it. I studied math. I don't know. And then it just went from there. It took like 2 days to make $3. I was like, fuck, if I can make $3 online with no money, I just sit and figure this shit out.
So what was the point in your journey that all your hard work really started to pay off? Like what was going on around that time?
We created jobs for like 80 people. Like I remember making like there was one day I made like $70,000 in a day or $60,000 in a day.
Ooh.
And I was like, I went to the psychologist because it wasn't like, yeah, like I made this money. It was like, what the fuck? Like I don't need for this. Like really, right? Like people like to live this lifestyle online and be like, yeah, buy a Lambo and all this fucking bullshit. Shit, it's like whatever. If you like that shit, great. But like when making money, whether you had money or not, there's a certain amount of money depending on like what country you live in. It doesn't like change your lifestyle, right? And I wasn't used to that. Like I had to get to that point to be like, like what do I do now? Like because when you coming up, when you start making, like when you started from like $200 on YouTube, right? You're talking to people that also starting from a struggle because like I understand you, right? So like I'm talking to people on YouTube, they all broke, and I'm like, I'm broke too. Let me figure shit out. But then when you come up from that and you make money, and there's still fucking people that are broke and watching you, and some people make it. So like Eric wanted to do some dropship house. I know he did really well. And I think that's your Ecom Tom, who's been down here. He's done really well. Like Dropship Tyler, who's been on my channel, he's done really well. But then you see a lot of other people that don't make it, right? So I made like 60 grand in a day, and like all these people follow me. But it's the balance between that and like providing jobs for other people and like meeting people like Ecom Tom and be like, yo, like we really beat this game, dude. Like, how do you get to the next level and stuff? So So yeah, it was a different mindset. And now, even now, I'm trying to like how to continue speaking to those beginners and starting with little, but I'm not there anymore, right? So it's like it's a real weird being having a YouTube channel, like like maturing in public is a weird thing. You know what I mean? Because like you speaking to certain type of people and you hitting a certain like point because you're there, but I'm not there anymore. So it's like, how do you? I don't know, but yeah, sorry.
So when you say you're not there anymore, are you saying that you're no longer in like doing drop shipping, or is that still
No,
something?
I'm still doing drop shipping, but it's hard to talk to those people who are struggling.
Oh, I see.
You see what I'm
Because it's
saying?
been so long since you
Yeah.
started and connecting with your audience at that level. I see.
Right. So I'm now kind of like taking the time to like figure out, okay, I'm speaking to the beginner, but like I've learned a lot of stuff like banking in different countries and taxes and all these different things that like has a lot of value also. But it doesn't speak to the same person who's like just out of college or trying to change their job and have like $1,000 to $20,000 and want to like make money online. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's a different person. It's just,
Right.
yeah.
So kind of going to the drop shipping side of things, is
Mhm.
drop shipping still relevant to do in 2022, or has that ship sort of already sailed for those that haven't gotten into it?
Okay, so I think okay, so to answer it quickly, dropshipping, the ship hasn't sailed, right? But when we first got into dropshipping, like when I first got into dropshipping, and when a lot of people first got into dropshipping, they would they would market it or like position it as like, yeah, you're gonna do this for 5 years, 20 years, whatever, this shit not gonna change, right? And what we have learned over the past years in dropshipping is it does change. It does, right? But the premises of dropshipping. So dropshipping is a premise that there are people buying online and you can provide the stuff that they want to buy and make a profit, right? How we do that, I don't know, but that's dropshipping, right? So as long as like people keep buying online and like e-commerce keeps growing, which is like the natural move of things in 2022, there's going to be opportunities to dropship, right? It's just if you're creative enough to figure out where, if some of the platforms let you or not, but it's not this making money online and like, yes, this is how you make money thing. A lot of people take away like fundamental logic to like be in all the marketing, like, yeah, this is it, right? Like, so as long as people buying online, they'll be drop shipping. You just have to be like aware enough and intelligent enough to look at what people are saying and look at results and see if it's worth your time. Because you can still dropship on eBay, you can still dropship on Amazon. Like now you can do Facebook, you can do Shopify. Like back in the day, you could run ads on Facebook and be profitable on Shopify. Now it's virtually impossible, right? Now you have to go to like Google Shopping and different networks, right? But people are still buying online, and more people are buying online. So it's just that like when people talk about dropshipping on YouTube, they get so tied up in like because other people make money by marketing dropshipping doesn't work, right? So if like you like try this other business model because dropshipping doesn't work, it's always like most of us YouTubers, not most, a lot of YouTubers are just fucking infomercials for bullshit, right? and, and they just find creative ways to be information for bullshit. And a lot of people watching it, they have to take time to like weed through the bullshit. Because most stuff online teaching you how to make money online is a pile of shit. And it's very manipulative and very like, it can sound great. It hits the right cues. Like I did all the like copywriting class and you, but like people are making money online and like dropshipping works. It's just that like I think more people need to approach it like you're trying to start a business. You're learning certain things. Some things just sound like just don't work. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. It seems like there are some people that have tried to profit over the fact that it's not that drop shipping has the ship has sailed, but it's like some of the strategies that may have worked 10 years ago don't work now. And so they just basically say, hey, since these strategies don't work, drop shipping doesn't work. Here's my solution. You want to make money,
Right.
here's my solution, purchase here. And it's really just trying to profit rather than truly trying to help people,
Well, I mean,
financially
the whole
succeed.
problem is that's a whole industry. Like there's drop shipping and then there's making money online, right?
Right, right,
So
right.
like there are all these people that are in making money online niche or in industry that never made money online. It's just selling information that you never know if it works or not, right? It's like going to you go into like doing an MBA and none of your professors ever ran a business before. Like maybe the information is good, but like who knows?
Right. I was listening to one of Alex Hermosi's podcast. He's the guy who
Mm,
wrote $100 million offers, and he
yeah,
was saying that it blows his mind to see like an 18-year-old as like a relationship coach, and they're trying to sell themselves as an expert on relationships. And he said that, and I was like, gosh, like that's so true. There's so many people that are trying to market themselves as somebody who can help you grow on social media, but they only have like 100 followers. It's
yeah,
like, make that make sense. Part of the reason why I reached out to somebody like you to be on the podcast is because I want to hear, information, or I want to ask questions to somebody who has like a clear result.
right.
Not that somebody, it's not that you've been on YouTube saying, hey, here's how you grow, here are some strategies and
Yeah,
like, hey, let's talk about it. It's like, no, like that's not even what you teach, but it's what you've done. So it's like there's something to unpack there and learn as far as your journey getting to the point that you had, 40,000 followers.
yeah. I mean, it's. I think, okay. So I think it's strange when someone wakes up. If you're starting a YouTube channel, ideally you should know why, right? And it shouldn't be about like as where my channel is named after myself, but it's not. It shouldn't be about me. Like my YouTube channel should not be about me, right? Like I'm the way how I look at it. I am like reckless enough to like try a lot of things that other people wouldn't try. And there are a lot of people that can learn from it that don't need to try the shit. Like for real. You know what I mean? So like when I went out and took the shot drop shipping, I was like, huh, I need to make my like I was like, I saw this, I was just like, this kind of makes sense, and I'm gonna try it. And then like when I was showing it on YouTube, like guys, this kind of makes sense. If you don't think it makes sense, tell me I'm talking bullshit. But I think this makes sense. And that's how I was doing it. As opposed to like, as opposed to like yeah, like let me see what I could sell on YouTube, or let me see how I could get famous. And let me try to be a comedian or just try to be a rapper. I don't know. Like I think and I think it's nice. I guess it's cool that a lot of people want to be YouTubers now. Because I saw some stat like one of the most like desired profession in the US is like to be a YouTuber. But I also think that when you start on a YouTube channel, you should be very like you should be doing it for other people, dude. Else no one give a fuck. Like you can't like I've seen YouTubers like come on and talk about themselves. Or like just look for attention and like that works to a certain extent, but you have to know like why you're doing this and who you're speaking to. Because these are like real humans. So jump on a plane and come live with you for a month if you ask them to.
Yeah, right, absolutely. And pretty clearly when it comes to even like your audience, would you say that when you grew your audience, people were coming to you to learn more about drop shipping? Or why do you believe people were really subscribing to you in the beginning?
So it was a combination of two things. I think a lot of people, and I only realized this after. I think a lot of people, yes, did want to learn dropshipping, like they really did. But I also know that a lot of people followed me because it wasn't like a scripted thing. It wasn't like I didn't like plan. Now I kind of like plan out my YouTube videos, but when I started this, I wasn't writing down like I'm gonna do this today. I was like, I came on every day. I was like, hey, motherfuckers, I'm doing this. Like, look at it and tell me what you think, right? So I didn't. That was intentional. I just happened to be like a very loud Trinidadian person, right? But people kind of like were drawn to like the rawness of it, or I guess the honesty or whatever. And I didn't realize that after, because I didn't, unlike like certain people like make YouTube videos and edit it and want to craft a story and stuff, most of the videos, like the first 100 and something videos, I didn't even watch it. I was like, I didn't even want to see myself on camera. I was just like record it, upload it, hit pause, and like wait for the comments. And like I'll respond to every comment, I'll like make videos to the comments, but it wasn't about like, yeah, I want to be famous. Like it wasn't about me. So I think that's something that like people should think about, whether you're in fitness, whether you like sharing other people's stories, you have to like do it for them and create this real value for like other people.
Now, when you say do it for them, would you say that you had a pretty clear idea as to the person that you were talking to, the avatar that you were trying to help in some sort of way?
So when I started the YouTube channel, and now I'm gonna say when I started as opposed to like now, because I'm now like reprogramming who I'm speaking to. But when I first started the YouTube channel, I was just speaking to like me coming out of college, or me coming out myself, a young man, like coming out of secondary school or university and not knowing where the fuck to make money and being scammed online by a lot of like make money online things that don't work. And I was just like speaking to the same person because I like, you know what I mean? And I never like I thought about it. Like I knew to myself when I was making the videos, I was speaking to old me, right? But then when I look at my fucking analytics, it makes sense because it's like 97% male between 24 and 35. So it wasn't like I'm speaking to like old me specifically because I know what it is to like try to be an entrepreneur and be lost and wasting money and stuff and just trying to get better. And then it just resulted in like it reflecting in my audience. And like even when the group of guys came to Nicaragua for Dropship House, like you could see it. It was all like college, mostly college grads or college students that were just confused and lost and didn't know who to listen to, and most of them came from homes like maybe middle class homes that like just worked and like did decently or didn't do too well, but no one was like came from like an entrepreneurial background like their parents and stuff. And that's when you don't have that example like in front of you and you want to be an entrepreneur, you want to start a business or you're looking for that, right? So like I don't want to say they're lost like it's a bad thing. I mean, that's part of like how you become an entrepreneur. You're in a place where you don't know what the fuck you're doing. You know what I mean? So
was there anything during that 3 months that you were with that very wealthy individual? Was there anything that he told you that just stuck with you as far as just advice on making money?
Okay, so there was one thing, right? There's one thing. I don't think anyone ever asked me this because I've told my employees these stories and I guess they don't get it, right? There was one thing that he said, and he was like, the easiest way to get rich, and this is very specific, this wouldn't apply to everyone. So before I say this, don't think it's some sort of like big theory that you can just change your fucking life, right? It helped me personally. Right? But he was like, the easiest way to make a lot of money is to do business in two different currencies with two different labor rates, right? And what this guy was doing, he was based in Trinidad and Tobago. Most of his businesses were in the US. He was using labor and the low labor of Trinidad and Tobago, the high interest rates that a third world country gives, and doing business in the US and getting dollars where there are low interest rates on on credit and so on. And then like he just left, there was more room for error, right? Because of business structure like that. And I didn't fucking know that I would have learned that from that individual, right? I was 19. It's just something that stuck with me. But like I moved to the US to study. I happened to like understand credit and interest rates, and like one of my blogs back in the day was called like my business credit blog.com. I got up to like $1 million in business credit, just like it's just like my YouTube. I'm just like, listen, motherfuckers, I'm trying to get credit. I don't know how I'm doing this. And I would just blog every day what I did, right? So that's specifically at the time, globalization wasn't like a thing, dude. Like we didn't have Facebook, right? But like now I find myself in like 2019 to 2022 thinking about like what's happened to stick with me. And my businesses are set up in the United States. I have a social security number. I have US banking, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Capital One, the whole bullshit. But I refuse to live there because the cost of living there is just counterproductive, right? But that's not for everyone, right? Like me moving from Trinidad to the United States, I already had left home to learn capitalism and entrepreneurship and all this stuff, right? And I think a lot of the older generation successful Americans, a lot of them are immigrants. And I think that like what I've noticed is a lot of their kids are like so used to like the luxury of the US that even like reduces their like progress. But anyway, to the point is, I just learned this shit from this dude in Trinidad that was worth like, he was in Forbes magazine, he was worth hundreds of millions of dollars. And now in modern time, any human could actually put that in place. Whether you're in the US and you outsource in the Philippines, well, I know some people like Americans losing jobs or whatever, they're poor fucking countries, like good, decent job and they do money too, right? So anyway, but that's the one thing that kind of stuck with me, which is kind of weird because I'm in dropshipping, right? So,
but still, it was a piece of advice that it stuck with you for a reason, and it's also because it makes complete sense, like logical sense. Like build your business here, but then outsource your labor over here and take advantage of, you know, like you said, the high interest rates of the third world country, as far, you know, as well as the labor rates.
Right, and what is funny, right, is that. So me being from the Caribbean, when I got to the US, a lot of people, so you're in the United States, right?
Yes.
So a lot of people talk about like these tax havens, like it's a secret, right? Like you make money in America and then you send it to like some secret island somewhere, right?
Sure, yeah.
Right. But then when I get there, I'm like, hold on, I'm from one of those islands, dude. Like we never have capital gains tax. Like when I got to America and there was capital gains tax, I was like, what is this? Because we literally don't have capital gains tax at home and haven't forever, right? So it was just like, it's just a weird, like going through this whole journey of being an entrepreneur and understanding people's perspectives. And like when like people talk about Amazon has all the money somewhere in Ireland, so they don't pay taxes, but only like rich people can do it. No. Like if you're making $5,000 a month, you can do that shit. And like play the same tax games that like these big companies do, because we're like in modern time. So, but a lot of people can learn from that. But I think that's what I learned from that.
Yeah, I think it was, if I'm not mistaken, I believe it was President Trump, to encourage these companies to get the money out of these tax havens. He lowered that capital gains tax substantially just for like a brief window and said, hey, if you bring your money back to the US, you know, we'll lower the tax from 20% down to 12, you know, and save you. So like, here's your opportunity.
Right. Some people took it.
Yeah, some people took it. Some people
took advantage of it, but it's just interesting that people are now being aware that this thing is like open to like regular people. You know what I mean?
Right. Marc, I'd love to go back to something that you had said and ask you a question about it. You had said that you were blogging every day, and most people that I interact with struggle with consistency and doing something every single day. So what really kept you going and blogging every day? And I'm even through the days that I'm sure you didn't want to.
Right. So like, okay, this is the thing. I had set a goal, right? To get $1 million in credit. And I had decided that like, if I have to get this $1 million in credit, I have to wake up every day and do something. Like figure out what application works, if my credit went up or went down, figure out something about corporations, tax ID, figure out something like every day. I'm just gonna wake up and like, I want this $1 million, like fuck, like every single day I'll figure out something. And every single day I'll just write down what I was figuring out, right? So it was more about like focusing on like deciding that you have a goal and like understanding that every day you may not know exactly what you have to do to get there, but you kind of know. Like you start a YouTube channel, right? Let's say, let me kind of do it to like what we're talking about here. So let's say I say I want to build a YouTube channel, right? Even though I don't post videos every single day, I might look for like how to do thumbnails or how to decide what to talk about, and then just document what the fuck I'm doing every day. So it was more like a journal than like I'm trying to figure out how to rank or some shit. Like I knew I was talking about business credit, and I ended up ranking on Google like 3 times in the first 10 for the term business credit, when like other people didn't know how to do that. And it was just about me documenting, like, listen, I woke up today and I applied for this card and got denied. And then I called the credit bureau. I was like, what's up? You know what I mean? Like I just document. So you have to be doing stuff every day. Like a lot of people try to create content. It's like, hey, let's see what content can you create today. Like if you're not doing anything like with a goal in mind, the content is not going to make any sense, in my opinion.
So if you're sitting there and you're like, okay, I know I need to do a blog today. What am I going to figure out? Like, what am I going to write? That sort of process probably would have.
No, I didn't even think about it like that.
Yeah, you didn't even think about that. You just did it. You were just like, you know what?
Yeah, I woke up in the morning. I was like, what do I need to get credit today? And at the end of the day, I was like, what did I do today? And I just wrote it down.
Right. So you just journaled for, the online space, the people online to see. And as a result, you really started getting people that were paying attention to what you were doing and learning from mistakes you were making and aha moments that you were having.
Yeah, because when I was doing that blog, I didn't even know that blogging to monetizing was a thing, right? I was just writing what I was doing. And then some people were like, why don't you make an ebook? So like, Then I started research online, how to write an ebook, how to monetize blogs. So it came about like that, as opposed to like nowadays, people look for business in a box and then try to build that business. And like, I was just like, okay, I am in America and I need credit to start a business. I can't find a blog or on the internet, someone that would tell me the truth about how to do this shit. I am just going to, hopefully it works. I'm going to do it and write it down. You know what I mean? So it was more that. And then you start to learn about SEO and like guest blogging and link building and all this nonsense that like people like selling packages now. And like, I bring it up because only recently, Marco, this dude I was doing videos with, he was like, Marc, you can teach people all the shit that you did. I was like, I don't even think about those things because it's not like when I was trying to learn to blog, I wasn't trying to learn to blogging. I was just like, how do I share this with everyone? And then a blog came up. You know what I mean? So like YouTube was just like, I throw something and then people are like watching, like, this is similar to blog. Like I connected it to blogging because I just did it before. But yeah.
I see. Honestly, Marc, this has been such a fantastic conversation. You've given so much. We can go ahead and kind of start getting towards, taking up a bunch of your time and kind of start, winding things down here.
Okay.
But for the viewers, for the people listening, where can they find you? And do you have anything that you could potentially offer anybody that wants to get into drop shipping or anything like that?
Okay. So, right. So if you want to find me on YouTube is Marc Augustine. I'll give Brian a link to check it out. On Instagram, I have a new Instagram because I moved, and there's a lot of interesting content that's going to come out, but on the Instagram is Marketer. It's like if you MARC Eter instead of K. So if it's a marketer with a K, it's marketer with a C, because my name is Marc.
Okay.
My actual name is Marc. And Marco and I have a free Facebook dropshipping course for like beginners this is for people who are based in the US who don't know anything about dropshipping. And it's 100% free, and it gives you basics. It gives you a free piece of software. You can start dropshipping on Facebook. And then there's a DS masterclass, which is like the more in-depth course. That's like $200 now, and Marco will do a one-on-one. But you can check it out. But like if your audience is watching, like this is the internet, like the time we live in now is relative. You have more tools than possible to make money online. You just have to be focused and like willing to add value somewhere. You know what I mean? Like in dropshipping, we don't add a lot of value, but we just make better listings than other people, and people find it faster. So you can justify making 10% or something. But once you figure out how to add some value on the internet and get it to people, people appreciate it. That's what I hope that like people watching would like get to know. And I'm going to post some controversial videos about doing business in Nicaragua soon that might cause me not be able to go back to Nicaragua. But
oh, interesting.
Yeah, Nicaragua is an interesting country. It's a dictatorship in the middle of a lot of democratic countries. And I was a YouTuber in a country that don't allow YouTubers for like 10 years. But yeah.
Well, for those listening, once again, check the comments. I'm going to leave Marc's link to his YouTube channel. I'm going to leave a link to his Instagram, and I'm also going to leave the link to his free dropshipping program.
Okay, sweet.
That you can check out.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for your time, Brian. And hopefully we can get like 2 minutes to talk after we record this.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, we certainly will. You have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much for joining Influencer.
Okay. Thanks for having me.
Got it. Bye-bye.